Welcome to the complete story of Final Fantasy XIII, a game perhaps best known for its reputation as being bad. However, even though some things regarding the game's design might be up for debate, the game's cast, world, and story all deserve their rightful place in the pantheon of the Final Fantasy series. And just for the record, I'm one of those people that didn't quite get the game the first time around, although I've since come to deeply appreciate it. So if you haven't played it, or if your first impressions weren't all that good, I recommend giving the game a go. But anyway, I'm Pétur from Birds of Play, and in this video I hope you'll join me as we revisit the complete story of Final Fantasy XIII. It's going to take a while to fulfill our focus, but I hope you'll be with us every step of the way. Chapter 1. A train speeds across the scenery, loaded with people who have been marked for forced migration to Gran, the planet below. Their speedy delivery is overseen by PSICOM soldiers working for the Sanctum, Cocoon's government, which requires all civilians who have possibly come into contact with a Pulse artifact to be purged off Cocoon. As the train runs through a barrier field, one of the passengers jumps the guard and sets everyone free. When the other guards come in guns blazing, the troublemaker, Lightning, reveals herself, before swiftly commandeering the train, effectively operating as an army of one. Meanwhile, Sage Katsuroi, who had been talking to her just moments before, comforts one of the frightened children, the presence of a playful chocobo chick nesting in his fro even warranting a smile. After arming the other passengers, they arrive at the Hanging Edge, a series of abandoned highroads and railways at Cocoon's outer rim, now a literal war zone, as the Sanctum's Purge reveals itself to be little other than an execution masquerading as exile. As the train is attacked by a Sanctum war mech, Lightning and Sage exit the train to take it on, although Sage is considerably less enthusiastic about the prospect. After they bring the mech down, Sage asks Lightning why she's trying to stop the Purge, pointing out her Guardian Corps uniform, but she tells him she quit the force. Although Lightning appears to be on her own mission, Sage decides to tag along as they fight their way through the Hanging Edge. Along the way, Sage asks her what she's hoping to accomplish, and she tells him she's after the Pulse fal'Cie. fal'Cie being powerful beings of divine origin and preordained purpose that oversee creation. With Pulse being Cocoon's sworn enemy, however, a Pulse fal'Cie is nothing but trouble, its very presence on Cocoon being the reason for the current purge. Elsewhere at the Resistance front, Snow Villiers and his friends in the rebel group Nora rally the deportees in a rebellion against PSICOM. Fashioning himself a hero, Snow tells the deportees that they will clear them a path to safety, but several of the Purge victims want to fight, among them being the mother of a young boy who wants to do all she can to save her son. Snow offers her son Hope S-Time a gun, but he's too scared to take it, so a gleeful girl sitting beside him, Oebadia Vanille, accepts it in his place. As the rebels make their desperate stand, the bridge they are standing on is blown to bits and they are sent flying. With her last breath, the brave mother begs Snow to get her son home, before plummeting to her death, Hope watching horrified from afar. As the Pulse Vestige, a towering structure home to the dreaded Pulse fal'Cie, is flown over the Hanging Edge, Lightning, Sage, and Snow all recognize it as their next destination, albeit for different reasons. As Snow tries to process what has just happened, he thinks about the mother's final words, wondering who she was talking about when she told him to get him home. Unable to find an answer, Snow vows to protect everyone instead, and asks his fellow Nora members to take care of the kids while he checks out the Pulse Vestige. Recognizing Snow as the man who led his mother to her death, Hope chases after him along with Vanille, hoping to speak his mind. Chapter 2. Lightning, Sage, Snow, Hope, and Vanille all converge inside the Pulse Vestige, where they find Sarah, Lightning's younger sister and Snow's fiancée. Sarah has tragically been made into a l'Cie by the Pulse fal'Cie. L'Cie being humans branded by the divine countenance of their fal'Cie masters and given a focus to fulfill. Sarah urges them to save Cocoon, and as her message is received, she enters a crystal stasis. A crystal sleep l'Cie embark upon once they have fulfilled their focus. A single crystal tear landing in the palm of Snow's hand. Lightning believes Sarah is dead, while Snow refuses to give up hope that she will awaken someday, trusting in the legend that l'Cie gain eternal life upon fulfilling their focus. As the door to the innermost sanctum of the Vestige opens, the 5 unlikely companions enter, coming face to face with the dreaded Pulse fal'Cie, Anima. Snow begs the fal'Cie to release Sarah, but as his plight falls on unsympathetic ears, Lightning attacks the fal'Cie, deciding that saving Cocoon means that the Pulse fal'Cie must die. Anima stirs, revealing itself to the trespassers, only to be destroyed by their righteous rage. Upon Anima's defeat, the party gets transported into an otherworldly realm, where the god Pulse brands Lightning and her companions, turning them into l'Cie. Pulse shows them a dreamlike vision of their focus involving Eden, the capital of Cocoon, and Ragnarok, an apocalyptic beast of legend said to have attacked Cocoon centuries ago during the War of Transgression between Pulse and Cocoon. An energy wave disperses from the Vestige and destroys the hanging edge, causing the Vestige to plummet down into Lake Brescia below. However, as the Vestige hits the lake, the soaring waves caused by its descent are instantly transformed into crystal, irrevocably altering the lay of the land. Chapter 3. As they awaken atop the crystallized lake, they are greeted by a Seath, a l'Cie that failed to fulfill its focus, instead turning into a monster mired in eternal sorrow and regret, and robbed of all free will. Snow instinctively uses his newfound powers as l'Cie to make short work of the rampaging Seath, proving that they have in fact been cursed by the fal'Cie. Having all shared the same apocalyptic dream, the newly branded l'Cie, now enemies of the state, assume that destroying Cocoon is their focus, Snow being the only one to believe that their focus is to protect Cocoon, as per Sarah's wish. As they look for a way to escape, they come across Sarah's crystallized form, having fused with the crystallized lake. Not willing to leave Sarah behind, Snow stays with her and tries to separate her crystal form from the lake, while the others keep going, hoping to outrun their Psychom pursuers. Hope tries to talk with Snow, but the would-be hero tells the young boy to save it for next time so he doesn't get left behind, telling him they will meet again. Lightning and the rest head to the Brescia ruins at the lake's edge, where they discover an unmanned airship. Having remained by Sarah's side, Snow is attacked by a Psychom platoon and pushed to his limits. In his desperation, he unwittingly causes the Shiva sisters to manifest, the sisters taking care of the soldiers before turning on Snow himself, who must then subdue them in order to win their allegiance. After defeating them, Snow receives his Idolith, a crystal that enables him to call forth his Eidolon, mysterious otherworldly beings that only l'Cie can tame. However, with his strength spent, Snow becomes easy prey for Oerba Yun Fang, another Pulse l'Cie, and the Cavalry, a division of the Guardian Corps, who capture him and take him in alive along with Sarah's crystal. Back at the ruins, Sage, an experienced airship pilot, pilots the abandoned airship through the Sanctum blockade, hoping to put some distance between them and the people hunting them. While aboard, the group sees a live interview with Galanth Daisley, the Sanctum Primarch, where he reiterates the necessity for the Purge. Sage does his best to evade the Sanctum forces chasing after them, but his efforts amount to naught as the airship is shot down, causing it to crash down in the Vile Peaks, a range of mountainous peaks formed mostly by scrap metal, left over from when Cocoon raided supplies from Pulse in order to repair the damage it had sustained in the War of Transgression. Chapter 4. Undeterred, Lightning is determined to march on, but Sage and Vanille need a break, both of them lacking the stamina of a soldier. Not willing to wait, Lightning goes on ahead, with Hope following close behind. Hope asks Lightning what she was doing at the Hanging Edge, and she tells him that she boarded the Purge train willingly to try to find Sarah, running into Sage in the process. Hope says he could never do something like that, but Lightning responds that it's not a question of can or can't, and that there are some things in life you just do. Lightning continues onward, unwilling to compromise her pace, leaving Hope behind in the process. Having rested for a while, Sage and Vanille continue to move, ultimately running into Hope and taking him along with them. They team up with Lightning once more, but split up as Lightning tells them of her plan to get revenge by destroying the Sanctum and the fal'Cie Eden, who oversees it, refusing to die a fal'Cie slave. Lightning plans to travel through the Gapra Whitewood to the city Polumpolum, Hope's hometown, where she will take a train to Eden, the heart of the Sanctum government. Hope decides to stick with her, but as the pressure of keeping Hope safe and dealing with enemy soldiers starts to take its toll on Lightning, she snaps at him for being a burden. Her Eidolon Odin appears and attacks Hope, as if to force Lightning to choose between her mission and him. They bring the Eidolon under control together, and afterwards, Lightning decides to help Hope toughen up, as they continue their mission together, apologizing for how she treated him. The next time Hope needs to rest, Lightning doesn't leave him behind, instead watching over him, Hope calling for his mother in his sleep. Elsewhere, Sage and Vanille similarly take a rest under the stars, Vanille crying in her sleep. High up in the sky, the cavalry escorts Snow and Sarah's crystal aboard their headquarters, the airship Lindblom. Fang asks Snow to behave, but Snow says he can't make any promises. There he meets Cid Raines, a brigadier general of the fleet, who tells him about how the Sanctum aims to publicly execute the l'Cie in order to pacify the public, who live in constant fear of the world below. He tells Snow that the Sanctum already has intelligence on the other l'Cie, but asks Snow to help him find them. Chapter 5. While passing through the Gapra Whitewood, Lightning gives Hope a knife to keep him safe, although she says she wants it back later. While traversing the woods, Lightning learns about Hope's mother, and the boys believe that her death was Snow's fault. Hope reveals he followed Lightning to gain battle experience and become strong enough to face Snow. As Hope plays around with the knife, Lightning is reminded of the time Snow and Sarah told her about their engagement, and that Sarah had been made into a l'Cie. At the time, Lightning refused to listen to them, instead kicking them out. Once they were gone, however, Lightning discovered the knife, a birthday present to her from Snow and Sarah, but by then it was too late to chase after them. Hope tells Lightning about Operation Nora, his plan to get revenge on Snow for his mother's death. He named the plan after his mother, which incidentally had the same name as Snow's ragtag group of rebellious youths. Although Lightning tries to convince him that it is the Sanctum rather than Snow who is to blame, Hope vows to punish Snow and the Sanctum both. As they exit the Gapra Whitewood, Lightning suggests Hope talks with his father in Polumpolum, knowing from personal experience what it means to neglect talking with family. Having seemingly teamed up with the cavalry, Snow thinks back on the time when he tried to help Sarah fulfill her focus. Together they traveled to the Pulse Vestige, all the while being hunted by Psycom soldiers. However, as they reached their destination, Sarah was pulled in all by herself and Snow sent crashing down onto the beach in the seaside city of Bodum, their hometown, where the Pulse Vestige was first discovered. Having failed to protect her, Snow hopes to keep his promise to Sarah, teaming up with Fang to find the other l'Cie. Chapter 6. After escaping the vile peaks, Sash and Vanille travel through the Sunleth waterscape, a nature reserve where wild beasts run rampant, their journey taking them in the direction of Nautilus, the city of dreams. Along the way, Sash confesses as to why he went to the Hanging Edge, telling Vanille that his son, Daj Katzroy, had been made a sanctumless sea by the fal'Cie Kujata. Daj had told his father that he wanted to see a fal'Cie, so Sash had taken him to Urich Gorge, a power plant home to Kujata, which also serves as one of the premier tourist attractions on Cocoon. There, Daj was given a focus and the ability to sense Pulsian beings. When Daj sensed the pulse Vestige in Bodum, resulting in the Purge, Sash started to suspect Daj's focus might be to destroy the pulse fal'Cie anima. Therefore, in order to save his son from becoming a Seath, Sash boarded the Purge train in the hope of completing Daj's focus in his place. Unbeknownst to Sash, Vanille knows more about the Uridi incident than she is comfortable admitting, even as they continue to travel together. As they reach the Nautilus dock, it starts to rain heavily, allowing Vanille to do her crying in the rain. Chapter 7. As Lightning and Hope arrive in the port city of Palampolum, the city is already overrun by PSICOM soldiers, led by Lieutenant Colonel Yag Roche. Knowing the city inside out, Hope is nevertheless able to slip past the soldiers and lead Lightning through the underground Nutriculture complex situated beneath the bustling town. There they come face to face with the fal'Cie carbuncle, responsible for supplying the populace with food. Having relied on the fal'Cie all their lives, Lightning realizes that she was born into a fal'Cie world and raised on a fal'Cie leash. Furthermore, now that she has no master to follow, she feels like her life has no purpose, therefore choosing to fight so that she doesn't have to think for herself. Lightning realizes she's been running from reality, and what's worse, she's been dragging Hope along for the ride. She tells him to end Operation Nora, but Hope protests, similarly having come to rely on the idea of having something to fight. Lightning tells him to go talk to his dad while he still has the chance, wanting him to find the hope he was named for. As Lightning and Hope return to the surface, they are surrounded by PSICOM troops, their location being broadcast to the whole of Cocoon, so that the citizenry can bear witness to their public execution. With nowhere to run, the pair is saved by Snow and Fang, who break onto the scene riding on Snow's Eidolon. Afterwards, the l'Cie split up in the chaos, Lightning and Fang in one group, and Snow and Hope in another. Fang reveals to Lightning that she is Vanille's friend and that she is looking to reunite with her, this being the actual reason she is helping the cavalry. Fang and Vanille are Pulse l'Cie and Gran Pulse citizens, having received their focus there long ago and entered crystal stasis upon its completion. They awoke on Cocoon within the Pulse Vestige 13 days ago, starting the chain of events that led Cocoon into chaos. Fang's l'Cie brand is different from the others, white and static, meaning she doesn't have to worry about becoming a Seath. However, Vanille's brand is still active, so Fang seeks to complete their focus, whatever it may be, to prevent Vanille from turning into a Seath. Fang apologizes to Lightning for how she and Vanille were unwittingly responsible for Sarah becoming a l'Cie. It happened when Sarah found the door to the Vestige after the pair left, and Anima, dissatisfied with their progress, sought out a new l'Cie. Fang explains how a l'Cie brand shows the time they have until they become Seath, and assures Lightning that Sarah will awaken from her crystal stasis eventually. Meanwhile, Snow obliviously continues to feed Hope's rage towards him, telling him it's stupid to pick a fight if it means you get killed, not knowing that was the fate of his mother. Snow and Hope see PSICOM gathering more civilians to purge, so Snow saves them by scaring them away, only for them to return later as an angry mob. They escape to the rooftops, where Hope confronts Snow about his mother's death, intent on taking his revenge. At that point, Snow realizes that Hope is the person the brave mother asked him to take care of. Suddenly, an attack from a Psycom war mech foils Hope's plan, blasting him off the roof. But Snow saves him from further harm by cushioning their fall, injuring himself in the process. Snow apologizes for what happened to Nora, and the two settle their differences. Fang, Lightning, Hope, and Snow reunite and head to the S-Time residence. There, Hope informs his father of his mother's fate and repairs his relationship with him. Lightning similarly resolving her issues with Snow as he recovers from his injuries. While the party is busy formulating a plan to deal with the Sanctum, Psycom officer Roche arrives with his troops. Snow tries to make them realize they also wish to protect Cocoon and demands for the Purge to stop, as Psycom is also purging Polum due to finding l'Cie there. Roche claims they can't risk sparing the lives of Pulse l'Cie, and that it is the populace itself that demands the Purge. After a fight with a Sanctum attack shuttle, Rigdia from the cavalry rescues Snow, Lightning, Hope, and Fang and takes them on board the Lindblom with the help of Sid. Chapter 8. Sash and Vanille arrive at Nautilus, Cocoon's capital of entertainment, where they watch a news flash regarding the events in Polum and their fellow l'Cie. Trying to get their mind off their troubles, they then go to watch the Pompa Sancta parade, a dramatic reenactment of the War of Transgression, retelling the war between Pulse and Cocoon that took place centuries ago, when Pulse and Cocoon l'Cie did battle against each other with the aid of their eidolons. Tired of running, Sash contemplates turning himself in for a chance of seeing Dash one last time, but Vanille protests. As he is just about to reveal the truth about the Eurity incident, Jill Nabat, Psycom's supreme commander, arrives with a Psycom platoon and Dash, who has been kept in Psycom custody to discern his focus. Dash turns to Crystal upon being reunited with Sash, revealing his focus to be the capture of the Pulse l'Cie. Subsequently, Jill shows security footage from Eurity Gorge and reveals the truth behind the incident, showing how Guajata turned the nearest person it could sense, Dash, into a l'Cie to protect itself from Vanille and Fang. Furious, Sash confronts Vanille, triggering the appearance of his eidolon, Brynhildur, which he brings under control with Vanille's help. Not having been able to bring himself to shoot Vanille as revenge for his son, Sash turns the gun on himself, although he's unable to follow through. Afterwards, Jill takes him and Vanille into custody aboard the Palamitia, the base of the Sanctum Skyfleet, to bring them to Eden for live execution. Chapter 9. Upon learning of Sash and Vanille's capture, Lightning and the rest mount a rescue operation with the help from Sid and the cavalry. They board the Palamitia using a stolen Psycom shuttle, but the crew discovers their ruse. During their captivity, Vanille reveals her origins to Sash, telling him that she and Fang became l'Cie to fight Cocoon during the War of Transgression, eventually entering crystal stasis. They awoke inside the Pulse Vestige on Cocoon, but unlike Vanille, Fang had lost her memory of their previous focus. Fearing more people getting hurt because of them, Vanille lied and pretended to have also lost her memory, hoping to escape their fate as l'Cie. As the rescue party makes its way through the ship, Sash and Vanille take advantage of the commotion to escape their holding cell, recover their weapons, and fight their way through the ship. The l'Cie reunite on a forward portion of the Palamitia's exterior and head to the bridge using one of Psycom's militarized wyverns. There they come face to face with gallant Daisley, who kills Jill and the entire bridge crew upon their arrival. Dismissing the l'Cie's assumption that he is one of them on account of being able to use magic, Daisley reveals his true form as the fal'Cie Barthandelus, Lord Sovereign of the Cocoon fal'Cie and Master of Illusion. After suffering defeat at the l'Cie's hands, Barthandelus reveals their focus is to become Ragnarok and destroy Orphan, the fal'Cie that powers all the other fal'Cie on Cocoon and holds it afloat over Pulse. Barthandelus claims Sarah's focus was to gather them all, so that Pauls could brand them as l'Cie in order to bring about Cocoon's destruction, a revelation that cripples Snow. Barthandelus departs, leaving behind his familiar, Menra, to serve as an airship for them to escape the now sinking battlecruiser. The l'Cie make their escape, all the while avoiding pursuit from Roche, and end up inside the fifth Ark, hidden beneath Eden. Inside the Ark, Fang and Vanille recall a legend concerning the Ark's purpose as Gran Paul's armories and training grounds for l'Cie, surprised to find one on Cocoon. Just as the story is foretold, the Ark helps the l'Cie to fully awaken to their powers, but as they travel through the massive structure, they encounter Sid, who reveals himself to have been a Sanctum l'Cie all along. Sid tells them how Barthandelus orchestrated the l'Cie's every action, carefully crafting them into the instruments of Cocoon's demise. He then explained how the fal'Cie desire Cocoon's destruction in order to summon the Maker, the creator of both fal'Cie and humans, hoping to return the world to its former glory. Since the Sanctum fal'Cie were built for Cocoon's maintenance, they are unable to do the deed themselves, therefore having to rely on l'Cie to do their dirty work. Hoping to stop the l'Cie from doing Barthandelus' bidding and offer Cocoon up as his bloody tribute, Sid attacks the party, effectively defying his focus as a l'Cie, granted to aid them along the way. As Sid is defeated, he nevertheless turns to Crystal, despite having challenged his fate, puzzling everyone. Shaken by this turn of events, the l'Cie reach a dead end. Snow decides to follow Sid's example and forget their focus, instead fulfilling Sarah's final wish of saving Cocoon. While everyone else agrees, Fang turns on them, declaring that even though they might wish to save Cocoon, she would rather follow their focus to destroy it than see any of her friends become a Sith for defying it. Fang unwittingly summons Bahamut, telling the others that Eidolons manifest when l'Cie lose their way, summoned to put them out of their misery. Together with the others, Fang is able to bring Bahamut under control, and afterwards, she reluctantly agrees to follow their plan. Bahamut's taming reveals a new path leading the l'Cie to a Pulsion airship, which they use to travel through a portal to Gran Pulse, the planet below. As they reach Gran Pulse, the airship is attacked by a wild wyvern, resulting in a rough landing as the ship crashes in the valley of Vallis Media. Unlike the safe haven of Cocoon, Gran Pulse is a world wild and fragile, vibrant and untamed, where lives are ruled by the brutal struggle for survival and the callous and uncaring whim of the Pulse fal'Cie. The party searches the area, but finds no traces of human life. Suddenly, Sas's Chocobo chick comes to warn the party that Hope's l'Cie brand is advancing and that he has fallen unconscious. They bring Hope back to base camp, and Vanille suggests they go to Oerba, her and Fang's hometown. Hope wakes up and implores them to go without him, as he would only slow everyone down. His despair summons his Eidolon Alexander, but he brings it under his control with Fang and Lightning's help. The l'Cie come to believe the Eidolons' purpose is not to free l'Cie through death, but rather to give them hope. Discovering a path to the Archiled Steppe, the l'Cie begin their journey to Oerba. Along the way, Vanille claims she became Ragnarok during the War of Transgression and cracked Cocoon's shell to fulfill her previous focus. However, while traversing the Mahabara Subterra, Fang bluffs about remembering her past focus to coax a confession from Vanille, Fang claiming she was the one who became Ragnarok and scarred Cocoon. Vanille tries denying it, but the shock from having her biggest lie exposed causes her Eidolon Hecaton Kia to appear, confirming Fang's suspicions. Vanille and Fang defeat it, after which Vanille resolves to come to terms with her fate and stop running from it. The l'Cie traverse the remainder of the Mahabara mines and use the fal'Cie Atomas to reach the Sulia Springs, where Vanille speculates Barthandelus lied to them about Sarah's focus, and that she actually overcame it, turning to crystal of her own will, just as Cid had. As they continue on, Lightning gives Snow her blessing to marry her sister, Snow telling her that he will make her sister happy, and that the crystal tear he carries will be her last. They reach Taijin's tower, a crumbling mechanical structure the errant fal'Cie Dahaka has made its home. The men hear him. A collection of animated stone statues help them destroy Dahaka and reach the tower's top, from where the l'Cie ride a capsule down to the slopes of Oerba. However, they find the once green and vibrant village covered in a blanket of snow-like crystal dust and infested with Seath, with no humans in sight. Moving on, the l'Cie walk along a crumbling railway overpass, shocked to find Sarah waiting for them at the end. Sarah implores the l'Cie to become Ragnarok and destroy Orphan, but they refuse. She abandons the disguise and assumes Barthandelus' human form. The fal'Cie explains the reason for Cocoon's creation, telling them that the fal'Cie, desiring to summon the Maker, needed a sacrifice large enough to attract the Maker's attention, and that the deaths of Cocoon's inhabitants would cause a large enough disturbance in the great beyond for it to happen. Barthandelus gloats how Cocoon citizens are fighting amongst themselves now that the resurrected Cid has become the new Primarch, angering the cavalry for his assumed betrayal. He claims the cavalry is mounting an attack to destroy Orphan, believing it will free Cocoon from fal'Cie rule. This leaves the l'Cie with a choice. They can either kill Orphan themselves or let Cocoon's people do it. The l'Cie engage Barthandelus in battle once more, determined to prevent this atrocity from coming to pass. However, Barthandelus' defeat is but momentary, as he simply returns to Cocoon to oversee the final stages of his plan, leaving the l'Cie with an airship so that they can follow suit. The l'Cie find an ancient record documenting the aftermath of the War of Transgression, explaining that the reason Fang hadn't destroyed Cocoon was that the goddess Etro, a deity whose worship was once prominent on Gran Pulse, intervened and turned her and Vanille into crystal before they could. Oerba's people then placed Vanille's and Fang's crystals inside the Pulse Vestige to honor Anima, the fal'Cie they had served. It was only later that Barthandelus brought the Vestige to Cocoon so that the two could finish the job when they awoke. The party decides to return to Cocoon and either save Orphan or die trying. They board the airship and use a portal in Pulse's atmosphere to return to Cocoon. As they return to Cocoon, the l'Cie and their Eidolons disrupt an ongoing race in Eden, causing mass panic among the spectators. A Psycom battalion and the resident Guardian Corps are deployed, flooding the streets with soldiers and mechanized beasts. Barthandelus uses transgates to warp Pulsian creatures and automata from both the surface of Gran Pulse and from within the Fifth Arc into the city, causing mass hysteria. The l'Cie fight their way through soldiers and monsters alike, while the cavalry infiltrates the Primarch's office. With Cocoon in flames, Rightday asks Cid whether this is the Cocoon he dreamed of, Cid replying that his dream is but a fal'Cie's fancy now, before asking Rightday to shoot him, ending his torment. Rightday complies reluctantly before leading the cavalry to confront Orphan at Eden Hall, the seat of the Sanctum's power. On the way to Eden Hall, the party gets some help from Snow's old gang, exclaiming that the fal'Cie are no match for Nora. Once at Eden Hall, the l'Cie spot crystal shards floating in the air, and a projection of Barthandelus explains that the clamor of the conflict rouses the Maker. Barthandelus then claims he has the l'Cie's loved ones captive, and asks the l'Cie to come to fulfill their destiny. Inside Eden Hall, the cavalry soldiers and Psycom troops in the vicinity turn into sacrifice Seath, the result of Barthandelus branding them l'Cie without giving them a focus. Roche confronts the l'Cie again, but after being defeated for the second time, he orders his soldiers to end all l'Cie operations and evacuate the city. Afterwards, Roche blows himself up, sacrificing himself to ensure nothing will follow the l'Cie into Orphan's Cradle, an alternate dimension serving as Cocoon's command center. Inside Orphan's Cradle, the l'Cie discover the remainder of the cavalry soldiers converted into Seath. The fal'Cie Eden guides them to the Narthex, Orphan's resting place, where they meet Barthandalus. Barthandalus presents them with Sarah's and Dash's crystallized forms before destroying them, commanding the l'Cie to fulfill their destiny by killing Orphan, thereby cutting the power fueling Cocoon's functions and causing it to crash upon the lower world's surface. The l'Cie see through Barthandalus's illusions, and Barthandalus engages them in battle only to be defeated and sent sinking into a pool of liquid. Daisley's familiar dives into the pool after him, allowing Barthandalus to rise as the protective shell surrounding the dormant Orphan. The l'Cie fight Orphan's first form, that is now merged with Barthandalus, but fail to destroy him. Orphan, growing frustrated, reveals why the mighty fal'Cie make l'Cie of men, telling them that the Maker created each fal'Cie for a defined purpose, with finite power to accomplish the task, while humans have infinite potential to be anything they want through indomitable force of will and determination. Thus, fal'Cie make l'Cie to partake in humankind's untapped power. Orphan tortures Vanille to force Fang to transform into Ragnarok, and seeing no way out of their situation, Fang submits, agreeing to guide the world onto oblivion. When the others try to stop her, she overpowers them, causing everyone except her and Vanille to turn into Seath. Her companions' shambling remnants attack Fang, triggering her transformation into an incomplete Ragnarok. However, Fang's Ragnarok is unable to destroy Orphan, as only the outer shield dissipates before Fang reverts back to her own form. Orphan revives Fang and tortures her to force her to transform yet again, while a helpless Vanille is forced to watch her friend suffer. Meanwhile, Lightning, Snow, Sash, and Hope relive the memories of their journey and find the strength of will to revert and save Fang, destroying Orphan in the process. After giving themselves their own focus, the party's l'Cie brands turn white. But even as Orphan is destroyed, the fal'Cie's newly born form rises from the pool once more, this time having shed Barthandalus's shell, revealing it nevertheless shares Barthandalus's desire to summon the Maker, even if it means its own death. As Orphan has shown its true colors as an enemy of Cocoon, the l'Cie kill the fal'Cie, believing that if they can destroy Cocoon, they can also save it. Following Orphan's demise, the rest of Cocoon's fal'Cie shut down, as now the powerless structure falls towards Gran Pulse. The party finds itself back in Eden as Orphan's cradle vanishes. Floating in the air, they grab hold of one another in order to stay together, but Vanille and Fang go their own separate way. Fang and Vanille join hands to become Ragnarok's true form and create a column of lava to engulf Cocoon's surface, allowing them to slow its descent. Ragnarok crystallizes the lava by summoning the crystal dust from Oeba's ruins, leaving Cocoon supported by a massive crystal pillar. Lightning, Hope, Sash, and Snow's crystallized forms appear on Gran Pulse, their focus fulfilled. Then, through an unknown force, Lightning and her companions wake from their crystal stasis. The group finds the l'Cie brands gone, as they are reunited with Sarah and Dash, who have also been made human once more. While Cocoon's survivors rally around the remaining military units, experiencing Gran Pulse for the first time, Hope takes a moment to mourn for Fang and Vanille, while Lightning gives Sarah her blessing to marry Snow. At the heart of the crystal pillar that holds Cocoon above Gran Pulse, Vanille's and Fang's crystallized forms remain united, hands entwined, their focus finally complete. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the great story of Final Fantasy XIII, especially since it's so often overlooked. Don't forget to subscribe for more and stay updated as we continue to release videos retelling the entire story of the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy. You can watch some of our other videos while you wait. But until next time, caca!